Welcome to the Training Portal podcast, where we delve into the heart of growth and transformation, both personal and professional. I'm your host, Melissa Mostert, and every fortnight, I'll be sharing a meaningful conversation over coffee with industry leaders, innovators, and changemakers who are helping to shape the future of South Africa. In each episode, we'll uncover stories of passion and impact, stories that inspire and challenge us to think differently about development, innovation, and community upliftment. The Training Portal podcast is your source of knowledge and insight, guiding you through the ever-evolving landscape of development in South Africa. Welcome back to the Training Portal podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Mostert, and joining us today is Wynand Viljoen, a key figure at the Delta, where he plays a leading role in driving innovation and technology strategy. With an extensive background in tech, Wynand has been instrumental in the Delta's involvement with cutting-edge projects across multiple industries, particularly in EdTech. His insights into the role of developers in modern businesses and the Delta's application of AI in various sectors offers a fresh perspective on the future of technology. We're looking forward to exploring Wynand's journey, the Delta's exciting projects, and the trends shaping the EdTech and AI spaces. So Wynand, thank you so much for joining us today on the Training Portal podcast. Let's dive right into things. How about you tell us more about yourself?
Thank you for inviting me to this. I'm really glad to be here. I work for a venture building company called the Delta, and I am a strategist there. And a lot of people ask me what that is, and I normally say it's like, you know what, I just build Lego. It's just a very glorious Lego builder, where basically what I do is I engage directly with the founders who come to us, and we guide them in whatever needs they have at every specific point. Mm-hmm. And just to step back a little from where that's my role, if I just step a little back, we're basically a whole ecosystem.
Okay.
And for founders, that goes from go-to-market to VC to studio, where we have a studio component. I'll talk about that later. And then all services that a startup or a founder might need. And then just diving deeper into that, what I do then is like I am the direct contact for founders, and they normally come to us with problems, and I essentially build the Lego to tell them or to advise them where you need this at this stage and this at this stage, because we have done it. We have walked the walk, and we know what goes wrong. And so that's a very nutshell of what I do.
So what did you study in order to get into this career?
I actually studied two main fields. Mm-hmm. I actually studied architecture.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see what you mean with the Lego then.
Yeah. And I always say, and the software guys hate it when I say this, and I always say I studied real architecture. And I know the software guys hate it when I say that. But I studied architecture and then studied an MBA after that, and going way more into the business side. And and then I, during COVID, did a career pivot into the startup field, because that was also the focus area of my MBA. Mm-hmm. My main study area was gamification and fintechs.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's during COVID, during the construction industry was just not in a good space, and leaned way more on my MBA, and that's where I am now. I still believe, I really wish I can tell architects out there about what good product managers they will make. Like, they're brilliant. Because at the end of the day, it's the same thing, mm-hmm. right? You solve problems and you do it creatively. Right?
Okay.
So you creatively solve problems, and I feel there's so many transferable skills. And I feel product companies looking for product managers should maybe go look for them in architecture schools. So, yeah.
It's like when we say instructional designers, teachers make great instructional designers.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing, and at the end of the day, architects can think very big, but also to the minute little bolt that goes onto that door. So they really cut through all of those disciplines and can solve very complex problems on a big scale, but also on very minute detail focused. So yeah.
So I'm quite interested in hearing more about the Delta. So you gave us a very brief overview of the Delta. What exactly is Delta's core services and how does it position itself within the industry, especially the tech industry?
Yeah, so just like a broad overview is that we have different pillars that we have, and we position ourselves as a broad ecosystem. We like to refer to it as an ecosystem where we can give founders everything they need in every step of the way that they have in building their venture.
Okay.
Whether that is literally validation in the beginning, whether it's building something technical like an app, whether it's go-to-market, because that's also a very important part, or whether it is assistance with fundraising assistance. We are getting a lot of that. We are really moving into that. And we're also in 2025 going to launch a VC arm. So we will be playing in that area. But I guess one of the most exciting parts that we are now currently busy with is we are opening up a campus, a Delta campus in Berlin.
Ooh.
So that is like a very exciting thing we're currently doing. And yeah.
Yeah, that is quite exciting. Why did you choose Berlin, if I can ask?
That came from our exco. When I started at the Delta, that was already there, and I was just, this is awesome. But there's strangely a lot of, I almost want to say, similarities in the startup ecosystem between Berlin and Cape Town. Like I went to Berlin, I've been in Cape Town for a while, and it's got this, dare I say, the same vibe. I almost want to use the word that grungy, pull up by the bootstraps culture. It's just like, I think those two cultures just merge so well. And yeah, our founders as located to Berlin, and yeah, it's an amazing place, and it's got an amazing startup culture as well. And yeah, so yeah, our campus there, it will be hosting a lot of. We want to also create an area in our campus where we don't only want to put in small founders there. We don't only want to cater for big scaling ventures. We really want to mix them up because that's where we feel, that dynamic between that interconnectedness between the small guys and the more settled guys. And, and I think that is really something that will show a lot of value in the next few years.
So at the Delta, you guys focus a lot on tech. And we all know a big buzzword in
here
tech
it comes. Yeah.
is artificial intelligence and AI.
I was thinking you're going to say blockchain. So I'm joking. I knew blockchain is so 2 years ago. All right. So
we are interested in knowing more about how the Delta approaches things like AI and any interesting ways that you guys are using it within your projects specifically.
So I want to start off with that AI is not a magic bullet, and that's what we say to a lot of founders. And I was at a pitching event about a week ago, and everyone, whether it forms part of their strategy or not, everyone's now using the AI buzzword. And I just want to, if there's any founders listening to this, just like, please do not let AI make you lose focus, because a lot of people are now almost pivoting their whole strategy because there's this new AI thing. So that's the first, I almost want to say, disclaimer that if there's any founders out there, don't let AI disrupt your path where you are now. So that's the first thing. The second thing, how we use AI. So yeah, if we can go right from, I think AI helps us develop faster.
Okay.
And we also have, because what we believe in at the Delta is to get a product into the hands of of your users as quickly as possible. So for us, whatever AI tool we can use to get that tool or whatever it is you're building into the hands of the users as fast as possible. And that is where we see a lot of we have a low code department as well. And what they basically do is low code is where instead of now needing like a whole dev team who starts coding from scratch, there's all these elements and tools where there are pre-built
Almost templates.
Almost templates, almost like I see it like as a toolbox with like, can I again use Lego? I feel like I just like using that everywhere, but you have these pre-built blocks and you can just like put it together, and we can really help clients and founders and users experience the product faster. And AI also helps us there in getting something in the hands of people faster. That's what we do. And then also just sometimes, just like when we need to deliver like briefs and things, it's a nice way to sense check yourself. So yeah, that's where we mostly use AI. Where we see AI from our founders' side is the first space where it's really helping is whenever there's how the startup engages with their customers. So we have, for instance, the venture called ParentSense, where a lot of moms are using ParentSense to, everything from diaper tracking to everything. And they also have now essentially trained an AI bot with all of their, let's call it their body of knowledge.
Okay.
So you can now talk to a bot that has got all of the knowledge of the ParentSense platform. And you can ask this bot about, my baby is doing this or this, and it will actually start giving you
advice that other parents have.
Yeah, or basically the research that's on the ParentSense platform that comes from the ParentSense books and the research and everything that the founder, Meg Fora, has done. Is so you essentially suddenly have access to someone literally talking back to you. And so that's the one. The other one where we also see it again with chatbots to actually just do customer relationship management and things like that, where I think training bots to answer questions in like a human-like form.
Yes.
If that is, I say human-like, I must be very careful. Like when we shouldn't give these bots personalities, and I don't name them.
So obviously AI is something that is ever changing. Yeah. And where do you hope to see AI in terms of what it can do for the Delta?
I think where one of the areas where we deliver a lot of value is in early stage validation.
Okay.
And just to quickly talk about early stage validation is, a lot of founders believe in their idea very strongly, which is a good thing. But sometimes what you believe in and what the market tells us is not always aligned. And sometimes you just need to pivot a little bit, and that is where we deliver a lot of value, where we can do a lot of in-depth research into markets specifically and give founders at a very early stage an idea of, this idea that you have, there is a better and a bigger market share if you just pivot it a little bit to there or to there. Sometimes it's very close. It's not like this what you've done is terrible. It's just like if you pivot just there, it's just your growth is just, you're just growth hacking this. And I think AI currently helps us there, but it's going to help us a lot in the future, where we can process so many data points at the same time, where AI can cut across so many of our financial systems, social, financial, political, because all of those have impacts on a startup. And I think that will just, in the future, I think enable us to just move through validation process just so much faster. So basically that's a very, very smart assistant.
That's the best way to
or
use
research assistants, yeah.
Before we continue with the rest of the interview, here's a quick look at how Training Portal empowers individuals and businesses through skills development. At Training Portal, we are proud to be a leader in skills development consulting and a multi-accredited training academy, committed to solving your unique challenges through innovative and cost-effective solutions. Whether you are looking to enhance your team's skills, comply with industry regulations, or maximize your BEE scores, our extensive range of over 300 short courses and more than 30 fully accredited qualifications cover all your needs. From agriculture to information technology, our CETA and QCTO accredited qualifications are designed to provide comprehensive learning experiences. We tailor our training programs to fit your specific requirements, ensuring maximum benefits within your available resources. Our innovative learning platform allows for flexible, self-paced study, available both on-site at your premises and through our Training Portal campuses all across South Africa. With Training Portal, you achieve more than your training outcomes. You gain a partner who stands by you from the initial consultation through to the continuous management of your training program. Now let's get back into the episode. So one thing we have seen is that developers are becoming almost essential to most businesses these days.
Yeah.
How do you see the role of a developer evolving, both within the Delta or even in the broader industry?
So I think that there's a few ways where I see that is that I think the types of services or the way that businesses conduct business is changing to a point. A good example is data science is now such an in-demand career and resource.
Okay.
Whether you are, we just came out of a very big election in the US, right? Data was all over the show, right? So whether it's in politics, whether it's in a doctor's office, analyzing how clients interact with them. And I think that is just seeing the data, but at the end of the day, you must also do something with that data. And I think that is where developers and AI is going to play a big role in taking millions and millions of data points and creating a narrative that founders and businesses can translate into business decisions.
Okay.
And I think that is where developers with AI and with data is going to start playing a very important role in businesses that aren't necessarily IT businesses or software businesses.
So that actually brings me to my next question is, do you think it's necessary, though, for all businesses, even those not traditionally in IT and tech, to view themselves as tech companies? Like, how does the Delta help clients embrace the sort of mindset?
Look, I'm biased, but I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I think everyone should be, and I think that's maybe just because I'm a tech junkie, but whether you are on the ground level of, let's call it agriculture, whether you are planting a seed somewhere, or whether you are right at the top on the trading floor at the New York Stock Exchange, tech is going to affect you.
It is.
And it's a way to get an unfair competitive advantage. And also just to be way more efficient and effective with the resources we use. And that cuts again into climate change and everything. But yes, I think you will be hard pressed as a business to not see yourself as at least highly dependent on tech.
Okay, that makes sense. I see why you said you might be biased.
I'm biased, right?
Yeah,
So,
we love tech as well. Our company thrives on technology.
Yeah.
We provide courses like online and all of that. But that also brings me to EdTech in general. So Training Portal is, of course, we love the EdTech space and the developments there. I'm interested in knowing some of the insights you have into the type of EdTech projects you've been involved in. What makes them unique? You don't have to go into specifics.
No, I'll go into specifics.
But I'm interested in hearing some of the developments and insights into them.
So one of the developments that I'm seeing in the founders we are working with is And I think it's because, and I think that is also what's great about the Delta is we love working with founders that solve complex problems. And I think EdTech in a South African context and EdTech in a European context and EdTech in a Asian context or an American context is not the same. And I think what we see with EdTechs in South Africa is the problems they are solving. They are, and it's actually super exciting, is EdTechs are becoming, I feel they're becoming FinTechs. Like they are, you asked me earlier where should every business see themselves a tech business? And I think it's almost like I see the EdTech that I see is like they should see themselves as a little bit of a FinTech.
Okay.
Because that's the biggest challenges in the African context, right? And is funding all of this and that is why we are working with a venture called Phoenix.
Okay.
And they basically do, it's like crowdfunding, but for individuals and specifically for education.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very cool. And the nice thing is that they have a very good platform in giving the funder the peace of mind that the person on the other side who's uploaded their photo and everyone, I see a photo of Wynand there and he's like, and I can be sure that he is registered at an educational institution and this is his student number and the funding that he needs is to pay for his last, let's say, semester so that he can get his degree. That's what we see a lot. It's like almost like that very last step to just like, okay, I need to just fund this little bit to get to the degree, to get into the job market. And you can now help fund these students. And that's where, I mean, obviously you're such a platform. There's payment integrations. There's checks that happens in the background. So you are very much playing in the EdTech space, but we see that we are using a lot of our devs with highly experienced FinTech experience on these projects.
Okay.
So yeah, we're seeing a lot of FinTech going or blurring the lines between EdTech and FinTech because that is the problem they're solving, right? That is the problem that needs to be solved in the South African context.
And have you noticed any other like emerging needs in the EdTech industry?
I think there will always be a need for access, right? Access. The needs that we are seeing is the funding part, but also going from funded to actually like entering into the job market, and sometimes going from I am now studying, and then but what after that? And that's also again a great venture that we're working with, Project Y. Please go check them out. They are essentially like identifying high growth individuals where they invest in high growth individuals, and these individuals essentially almost like they ensure that these individuals get access to education and the job market afterwards. And it's also,
and that's quite important.
Very
a lot
important.
Of people, they get the education, but they can't enter the job market.
Exactly. It's like that where you hear about people with PhDs in math working, I don't know, as Uber drivers. Nothing against Uber drivers, but it's like, I once was in an Uber, and I always tried to chat with people, and that was to me it was such a salient moment for me because I was like, what are you doing? And this guy was studying online engineering through MIT.
Wow.
I was like, what?
And
this guy is going places. And he's just Ubering by day and studying through MIT. And I was like, and how do you because MIT it's expensive, right? And he's like, no, I go through MIT OpenCourseware, which is free. I'm like, dude, you are amazing. Like, you are an inspiration to me. But I think that is the thing. Like, it's that guy, we need him to enter into the job market. And I think that is some of the challenges we see. But I'm glad that we are solving for the money component during studies. I'm glad we're seeing that happening. So we're at least solving that problem.
Yeah, because that is sometimes the first challenge individuals are facing.
Yeah. Let's get people educated, and remove the money barrier. So,
what do you see on the horizon, or what do you believe is on the horizon in terms of EdTech? Especially like considering like advancements and things like AI and technology in general. Like what do you see is coming?
I see, and this is. Take this with a grain of salt, right? This is just me. I see highly customized education paths where you can now go into ChatGPT and say, I want to learn about this topic and please give me a syllabus. And it's going to work out and say, you must learn this, then this, then this, then this. So you're going to start getting where we usually have at universities, you have to study this section,
textbook.
And this textbook with this section, so you get a very generalized BCom or something at the end. You get this BCom and I think we're going to get highly specialized and highly individualized education paths where AI will essentially tell you exactly what to learn when, but also it will adapt in real time to new information that's coming into the fore.
And adapt to the learner.
And
that is very important. I mean, that's something, we've looked into technology similar to that for Training Portal. And I mean, adaptive learning to the learner itself. I mean, no one learns in the same way. Let's be honest.
And I think it's, and I think that's going to be 100% like the robots will essentially learn about you, right? And like, what are your strengths? What are your shortcomings? And it will adapt your material to that. And which is actually very exciting.
It really is, especially in terms of education.
Yeah, because you will actually at the end up with someone that's very well-rounded. It's like that thing where when you're at a doctor's office, you must remember that this guy didn't get 100%. There's some stuff he doesn't know, So,
well, I didn't think of that until now.
So, if he got 60% at the end of the day, there's 40% that
Oh, I will definitely be thinking about that the next time I go to the doctor's office.
The next time someone cuts you open, maybe ask for a robot.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I'm interested in knowing how the Delta approaches things like innovation in order to stay ahead of the curve in such a rapidly changing sector.
I know Megan, if you're listening to this, I think it's because we challenge each other so much. And I have a team member with me, Megan, and she's always always challenging me. And I think that's such a culture in the Delta where we constantly challenge each other. And what I love the most about her is she will just like straight up tell me, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. and I think that is where that culture of this just what is new, what can you share, and where should we be upskilling? And we are constantly looking at how can we deliver a certain level of quality to founders and how can we do it better. So we're constantly checking, like in every project, we're like, how can we have delivered this project better? And is it that we can have more skills in this area? Is it that we can have more skills in that area? And so that is on a broad scale where we're like, okay, we always constantly, and we encourage upskilling quite a lot. It's quite a big part of the Delta, and our company supports it quite heavily. But then also just on the ground, when the boots hit the ground, it's like challenging everyone's thought patterns and thoughts in just like, I almost want to say in the morning stand-up, So it's definitely a culture of that. It's like really challenging each other and like fostering upskilling and growth constantly.
And finally, what advice would you want to give companies who are looking to embrace technology more fully? I mean, like you said, you're a tech junkie. Not all companies have someone like you on their team. So what advice would you give them?
If you're not embracing anything, maybe ask ChatGPT what you should embrace. I think if there's companies who are not embracing it at all at this stage, I would say try and really think about what part of your business, where in your business can you make better decisions? And just, we don't have to have a whole big digital transformation. Just identify one part of your business where you're like, we can make better decisions here. And when it comes to decision making, ask yourself, what type of information would I need that will enable me to make a better decision or make a more confident decision in this area? And really go and focus into how tech can help you make that decision, or AI can help you make that decision. And I think from there it will start growing. Okay. And I think it is the speed at which you will realize from when you do that till when you see it in the bottom line, because that's at the end of the day, you know, that triple bottom line that I talk about. When we were in our MBA, one of my friends said the triple bottom line is profit, profit, profit. And it's not. But, you know, at the end, I think that is when you start making better decisions. You see it on the bottom line very quickly. That's what I would recommend.
Now, Wynand, before I say goodbye, are there any upcoming projects happening at the Delta that you think listeners should keep an eye or ear on?
I think keep an eye on the EdTech space, especially where we are focusing on this crowdfunding area, but also because that is normally focusing on university students. So please keep an eye on what's going to start happening in schools.
Oh,
yeah,
that sounds interesting.
Yeah, before someone hits university.
That I agree there. I mean, it is
that's a very much an overlooked area.
It really is.
So keep an eye on what we're doing in that space.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. It was lovely having you here to chat with us about the Delta and your pathway and how you've how you've experienced EdTech. I will make sure that all your contact and information and the Delta's information, even the projects you mentioned, like Phoenix, all the informations are linked down below so that listeners who are interested are able to go and check you guys out.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Much appreciated.
And hopefully we'll see more things come from the Delta.
Please keep an eye on our Berlin campus.
Oh, that is exciting. I can't wait to see that.
There's going to be a pool on the roof. So I don't know if we should cut that out.
A swimming pool on the roof. That is not what I was expecting. Next time on the Training Portal podcast.
But unemployed people. So what makes our approach different is that we believe it is not what we do that is going to make the difference. It is how we do it. It's not what a manager does that changes his workers. It is how he does it. Because the one truth is, I cannot change someone else. Nobody can change. I can't change you. I can't change my wife. When I was younger, I thought sometimes that would be a nice thing to do. I can only assist you in changing your own mind and get to the point where you want to change something that you're doing at the moment or not doing at the moment. And that's our approach. Our approach is not to teach people the skills. Well, we do give tools, but I can give you 5 different tools to loosen a nut. The fact is,
which tool works for you?
I need to convince you that you must pick the best tool in that box, the most applicable tool in that box, or what you have, or what you're comfortable using. Maybe totally different from mine or his or hers. To use that, and then to decide, I'm going to work over time being the best possible me I can be.